If you've been following along with this course, you've probably guessed that put sellers want the underlying stock to stay above the option contract strike price. Now it's time to find out why. Here's an example to illustrate. This example doesn't include commissions and other fees. Ensure you understand your broker's fee schedule before trading options. An option trader named Sarah sells a $35 put when the underlying stock is trading at $40. The option trades at a price of $1 and has a multiplier of 100. She receives a premium of $100 from the buyer, Jack. She's obligated to buy the stock at the strike price on or before the contract's expiration date if Jack decides to exercise his right to sell shares to her at the contract's strike price. In this scenario, she's also referred to as being short the option. More specifically, this strategy is called a naked or uncovered put. We'll discuss this strategy and others in further lessons. Now let's say the underlying stock drops to $30 per share before that expiration date. The price of the option goes up and it'll be worth $500. This value is determined by the fact that Jack can exercise the option and sell 100 shares of the stock for $35, $5 more than the current stock price. If the put buyer exercises the option and Sarah is assigned, she's obligated to buy 100 shares of the stock at $35 per share, paying $3,500. Of course, she sold the option for $100, so we can subtract that from her expenses. This makes her total cost $3,400, or $34 per share. $34 per share is also her break-even point. A quicker way to calculate her break-even point is the option strike price 35 minus the price of the option traded for, $1. Sarah now has two choices. She can choose to keep the stock position for as long as she can afford to, or she can close her stock position now by selling 100 shares of the stock at $30 per share for a total of $3,000. If she decides to close out the position now, she locks in a loss of $400. That's the $3,400 to buy the shares when assigned, minus the $3,000 she can sell the shares for now. However, if the option is not assigned to her, she keeps the $100 premium she received when she sold the option. This is her maximum profit. As a put seller, Sarah's goal is not to be assigned. That's why she wants the underlying stock to stay above the strike price of $35 per share. Sarah's risk in the trade comes when the stock falls below $35. The lowest the stock can go is $0. This is the worst case scenario for Sarah. Her maximum loss at that point is her total cost to buy the assigned shares, which is $3,400. Or simply, the strike price of $34 multiplied by the shares delivered, 100. Let's recap what we've learned about selling a put. Put sellers want the stock to stay above the option strike price. Their break-even point is the strike price minus the premium they receive. Their maximum profit is the premium they receive when selling the put. Their maximum risk is the break-even point multiplied by the number of shares delivered by the option, typically 100. Now that we've learned the last piece of our options trade cheat sheet, let's put it all together. An easy way to remember how each of the 4 basic option trades work is to draw a quadrant chart. If you remember the rules for one strategy, you can infer the others, because calls and puts are opposites. For example, we just learned that put sellers want the underlying stock to stay above the strike price. Therefore, call sellers want the stock to stay below the strike price. And we can apply that same thinking to determine what option buyers want. Call buyers want the underlying stock to go up, and put buyers want the stock to go down. Now that you know why option traders might pick a strategy, we'll next learn where they find quotes and other helpful information. Introducing the options chain.